Hey everyone, so I literally just got back from watching Mickey 17, the newest movie from legendary director Bong Joon Ho, his much awaited follow-up to the Oscar-winning, critically lauded Parasite, and it was really weird, in a way only Bong Joon Ho could hope to pull off. If you've seen any of the trailers, you'll know that this film is basically about a guy called Mickey Barnes, played by memed vampire actor turned indie darling Robert Pattinson, who in the 2050s signs up to be an expendable on a deep space mission to colonize the frozen world of Niflheim, which kind of sounds like a planet name you'd hear while watching Rick and Morty. Anyway, this basically means Mickey does a ton of really dangerous jobs, and when he inevitably dies doing them, whether that's from freezing or poisoning or blunt trauma, they simply print out another version of him, complete with his memories and most of his personality. Sounds pretty crazy, right? Well, that's because it is, especially when you pair that premise with Bong Joon Ho's penchant for unpredictability, genre bending, wild tone shifts, and darkly hilarious political commentary, all blown up to an epic scale with a staggering $118 million budget, which is kind of an insane number and level of studio trust for such a bizarre premise. But I guess that's what you get when your last movie was one of the most acclaimed of the 21st century. And of course, it is a load of fun to watch someone as creative as Bong Joon Ho, at the peak of his powers, with such a large budget, just do a ton of crazy, funny, interesting stuff. Because yes, while this movie is absolutely about a guy who dies and is reprinted over and over again, that doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of all that Mickey 17 is doing. That doesn't even begin to fully describe the story that Mickey 17 is attempting to tell. And this is something we've seen a lot with Bong Joon Ho in the past, right? Snowpiercer begins as a pretty straightforward dystopian sci-fi thriller about a class revolt on a perpetually moving train, before becoming much more than that. Parasite begins as a darkly comedic con story about a lower-class family infiltrating the lives of the wealthy, but slowly morphs into something much more sinister. Bong Joon Ho's movies are known for their ability to shapeshift, constantly evolving in ways that keep you on your toes. His films often begin with seemingly straightforward premises, only to unravel into intricate, multi-layered narratives that blend satire, social commentary, and moments of pure comic goofiness and/or chaos. Rather than conforming to conventional genre structures, Bong Joon Ho meticulously deconstructs them, weaving together humor, horror, action, and drama with remarkable fluidity. His works are defined by their narrative unpredictability and thematic depth, often using genre as a vehicle to explore deeper societal and existential questions. And make no mistake, Mickey 17 absolutely operates within this same framework, and when it works, it's really enjoyable. There's an undeniable thrill in watching Bong Joon Ho throw every wild idea he has at the screen here, especially when backed with such striking science fiction visuals and performances which make even its most absurd moments feel real. Robert Pattinson yet again proves how compelling and versatile of an actor he is. There's especially something he's doing with his voice here, along with the physicality of his performance, which really works with the kind of goofy, adorable vibe of the movie. But it's Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette who steal the show in my opinion, clearly having the time of their lives playing the colony's delightfully unhinged political power couple. All their scenes feel like something straight out of a Yorgos Lanthimos or Terry Gilliam movie, full of bizarre, stilted, passive-aggressive, buffoonish dialogue, which is both hilarious and deeply unsettling. And beyond the performances, there's just so much stuff happening in Mickey 17, and I really respect the ambition, you know? I wouldn't say that Bong Joon Ho has ever been a subtle filmmaker. If you've seen Snowpiercer, you know exactly what I mean, and Mickey 17 is no exception. There's nothing remotely hidden about its message, but personally I don't really mind this. I mean, it's that classic in-your-face, borderline cartoonish approach which makes Bong Joon Ho's movies so distinct. And in Mickey 17 in particular, the guy's juggling just so much here. Existential philosophy, corporate greed, labor exploitation, colonialism, animal welfare. I think, and a ton of other stuff I won't get into because of spoilers, but when combined with the science fiction genre, it kind of feels like a feature-length episode of Futurama, and I mean that as a compliment. The set design, and especially the costumes, add a ton to this heightened, unsubtle tone as well. And then there are the brilliant one-liners, which again kind of adds to that cartoon vibe. My favourite probably being Toni Collette's character claiming that Source is the true litmus test of civilization. A line that I laughed a lot at, but which no one else in my theatre seemingly found that funny, so each to their own, I guess. Seriously though, the whole thing with sources was so genius. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But that's what makes the world Bong Joon Ho sets up here feel so rich. Even when the movie is tripping over itself with ideas, it's still packed with tiny, ridiculous details that keep it fresh and entertaining. However, while yes, it is this all-guns-blazing approach from Bong Joon Ho which helps make Mickey 17 as interesting as it is, it also, in my opinion, contributes to why this movie is kind of a mess. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed this film, I think it's a good time. However, my main problem is that I just feel like it never really decides what it wants to be. And like I've said already, Bong Joon Ho is no stranger to plot twists or dramatic tone shifts, but here, I don't know man, it feels less like a carefully orchestrated balancing act and more like a movie trying to do way too many things and just spiraling out of control in the process. Constantly shifting its attention from one big idea to the next without ever fully locking onto any of them. It's like the film is interested in everything it's doing, but not focused on any one thing long enough to make it hit as hard as it should. Of course, the problem is not that the movie is ambitious, it's that it feels like it bit off a bit more than it could chew. Unlike some of Bong Joon Ho's past films, where genre shifts feel deliberate and purposeful, Mickey 17 feels like it's throwing way too many things at the wall and just hoping that a few of them will stick. There are too many characters, in my opinion, too many subplots, and while watching this film, I just got the impression that it was probably an absolute hell to edit. I mean, fair play, they got it down to 2 hours and 17 minutes, but I don't know man, there's so many interesting ideas or conflicts which are introduced only to be just kind of forgotten about. You can feel the outlines of a much denser, richer film underneath, but what we end up with is a bit of a mess. One that's entertaining for sure, but also frustratingly unfocused. So look, at the end of the day, Mickey 17 is a fascinating, wildly ambitious, and frequently entertaining film that just never really fully came together, at least not for me. But don't get me wrong, it's packed with brilliant performances, striking visuals, and plenty of that classic Bong Joon Ho wit and absurdity. The ideas are there, the individual pieces are great, but as a whole, it just doesn't feel as refined or satisfying as the man's best work. However, with that being said, I would definitely still recommend checking Mickey 17 out, and it has got me thinking of doing a Bong Joon Ho worst to best, so maybe look out for that in the near future. But until then, I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.